Unis, très focalisés et vraiment avec la volonté réelle de servir les Canadiens puis de gagner la prochaine élection. C'est vraiment ça. Moi, je vous dirais que oui, les gens maintenant... Je dirais la page est tournée dans le sens où les gens... Vous savez, les gens d'abord sont très conscients des enjeux qui touchent les Canadiens. Les gens veulent travailler pour améliorer la vie des Canadiens. Et en même temps, les gens sont très focalisés en disant la meilleure façon qu'on peut préserver les acquis sociaux qu'on a eus, les avancées qu'on a eues dans plusieurs domaines, c'est de battre Pierre Poilievre à la prochaine élection. Alors, dans ce sens-là, les gens sont unis à vouloir servir, en même temps à vouloir gagner la prochaine campagne.
How are you feeling about your campaign plans?
Good, very good. Oh, you should watch me on the street. It's going well. Trust me. Come with me. The party's good. Honestly good. Really. Ask people, you'll see. Look at the smiles today. It's good. Trust me, it's good.
I'm dead as far as you're concerned?
What I'm focused on is my constituents. I'm focused on is beating Pierre Poilievre in the next federal election. He poses an existential threat to Canada's democracy, in my view. He also has committed to tearing down some of the institutions that Canadians rely on, and that, in particular, Miltonians rely on. I went to the doors in 2019 and 2021, and the main issues were affordability, fighting climate change, speeding up applications for immigration, PR, and citizenship. And those are the things that my office has been focused on and committed to fighting over the last 5 years.
But you need a unified team to take on Poilievre. The Conservatives are very united behind him right now. Do you think that these are
unity? Question, you know, like I talk to a lot of Conservatives all the time, and they express quite a lot of difficulty with Pierre Poilievre, and they've expressed to me that they don't like their leader. But they know, unlike us, that they can't have open and frank conversations because they'll get kicked out of caucus. And what the Liberal Party is famous for, quite frankly, and one of the reasons we are a stronger party than the other official parties is because we can have those types of conversations, open and honest debate in our caucus, and we have. And like I said, I'm focused on the issues, I'm focused on affordability, and I want to highlight that the last 3 months in Canada have been really, really positive. You know, Canada's been through some tough times the last couple of years, and Canadians continue to face quite a lot of very serious challenges. What we've seen is inflation abate significantly. We've seen interest rates come down. We've seen job numbers go up. We've added 50,000 jobs to the Canadian economy in the last couple of months. These are really, really positive things. And in particular, throughout that period of time, we've also seen our emissions come down. It's the first time we've seen our economy grow while the emissions have come down in Canada.
Do you believe the face of Mr. Trudeau should be on the posters in the next election everywhere across the country?
What I'm focused on is beating Pierre Poilievre in the next federal election.
Do you believe
what I am focused on is my constituents.
You're not sure?
I'm not focused on.
You're not certain?
I'm not focused on my campaign literature. I'm focused on my constituents. I'm focused on my committee work and my community. I'm focused on the key issues that drove me to come here.
How do you feel about what you heard about how the plan for the campaign?
I won't talk about what happens in caucus with journalists. I'm very, very, very confident that Canadians want to see a government that's focused on the issues that are impacting them. And they also want more than just a three-word slogan. They know that a three-word slogan.
What will your campaign be?
Our campaign will be more than just empty three-word slogans and empty promises and ad hominem attacks. Yesterday we saw Pierre Poilievre stand in the House and just attack, Liberal ministers. He attacks their appearance. He attacks their record. He attacks all sorts of things that are unfounded. And instead we focus on the issues and we focus on our constituents. And I'm going to stay focused on those challenges.
What can we expect in ads?
Oh, you'll see. I don't know.
Thank you.
The only thing I will say, because of course it all happened in caucus, is that I wouldn't be any more happier with it if I'd written it myself. It's looking good.
Do you believe Mr. Trudeau's face should be on the posters all across the country?
Again, that's part of the that's part of the things you think about, and we think about those things in caucus.
But when you're confident about your leader, you would say yes for sure.
Well, I don't know if I would make that question that way or not. No, I think that generally speaking, the framework of the strategy looks extremely good. I think that you will have interesting things to report on in the weeks to come, and the Conservatives should be nervous.
Yeah, before you were saying you wanted to see that clear path forward from whatever Mr. Bevan was presenting today. Safe to say that whatever he said satisfied that for you?
Let's just say that what I saw, I was extremely pleased with, and as it might have been.
Is the the Liberal caucus. Is it over? Because some ministers are saying that it is, that, you know, everything is well in the Liberal caucus now.
I think we had a very good meeting last week. There's, I think, a lot of unresolved questions from that still need to be addressed, and I think there's a lot of people that are still looking for some answers for those things, and I think until that's addressed, that's going to be lingering. So I'm sure there are a lot of folks that are not quite satisfied with that. Yeah.
We hear you didn't even ask for a secret ballot. Is anybody going to ask for a secret ballot? Like, what's the mechanism for that?
Look, I can't comment on anything that's said in caucus because that's confidential. I know there's a lot of my colleagues that have asked for that, including myself. I think it is an important mechanism to bring unity within the party, to show that there is the kind of overwhelming support, or support of the vast majority of MPs that I've heard mentioned a few times. So I think it is an important way of showing that is there and bringing people together so we can put our best foot forward going into the next election.
What did you make of Andrew Bevan's presentation? Without going into, you know, betraying caucus confidentiality, what's your impression of what he presented today?
Well, as you mentioned, I'm not going to talk about what's talked about in caucus because it is confidential, but I think it's important to keep in mind that Mr. Bevan just started a week and a half ago, so he's got a lot of work to do, and so this I think is a start today, but I'm looking forward to seeing a more fulsome plan as it rolls out.
What are the next steps for people like yourself feel there should be a secret ballot?
Well, really it's kind of up to the Prime Minister at this point to it's in his court to determine why there shouldn't be a secret ballot. As I mentioned, all the reasons before why it makes sense for us to have one. And I think until we hear that, there's going to be those questions that are out there. So.
Do you feel confident running on what was presented today if there was an election tomorrow?
Well, I mean, again, I'm not going to talk about what was presented.
It's like
but
your own feeling on it. Just like, do you feel confident without details?
I don't think anybody would be confident on running on a plan without details, and I'm not saying that's the ink plans that are there right now. But I think Andrew Bevan needs to take some time to do the work, and he's only been in this position for 10 days. So I know he's got a lot of experience. I have a lot of trust in him, and I'm looking forward to seeing the work that he's going to do over the coming months. And so sorry, I'm going to run to a question for you.
He ran Kathleen Wynne's campaign in 2018, and we know how that finished. So is that also a concern that you have about?
That's probably a better question to ask some of my colleagues from Ontario. It's not something. I mean, obviously, I come from the West Coast, so don't have that personal experience.
You
but
know how the Wynne government ended, though, right?
Yep, of course. But I think that's a better question to ask some of the MPs from Ontario. Thank you so much, guys.
Good.
Yeah, would you say the dissent has kind of been dealt with at this point?
I would say that we are absolutely united in making sure that Mr. Poilievre's agenda on Canadians does not see the light of day, and we're going to keep working hard as a united team to do that.